Scientific temperament cannot develop after 20s. Scientific temperament actually should develop from school level. Actually, the best teachers should be at the school, but it is reverse. The worst teachers you will have at the school and the best teachers you may get in your PG or once you go to Labasna. So, best teachers who can change the attitude of the student will not be there, because attitudes are decided basically, some people say it is decided below 5 years. The brain development also below 5 years. That is the reason child rearing practices, everything becomes very important when the kid is below 5 years. So, the first 5 to 7 years, if the kid is not taken care of, it doesn't matter where he is going to stay afterwards. So, like this, there are several things which keep on talking about the attitude framing of the kid or the psychological temperament of the kid. So, first 5 to 7 years, if he is under tremendous pressure, okay, so if he is under anxious parents, that anxiety disorder will be there in the kid for the rest of his life. This fellow will be always anxious, even after 15 years, 20 years, in his job, in his marriage, okay, till he dies. So, this is basically framed where this attitude, when did it come? Because it is about the child rearing practices. Even the teachers in school, for example, many students, they don't like maths. The fear psychosis of a particular subject is also imprinted in their mind because of one teacher or the other who would have told him 101 times that you are an idiot in his childhood. So, this fellow internally, subconsciously believes that this fellow is an idiot and he cannot master or he cannot excel in a particular sphere of life. He cannot feel that he is exceptional because outside he may feel I am good, but inside in his subconscious mind, he believes that he is not intelligent or he cannot do maths or whatever it is, and that drives him to disaster maybe the next 15, 20 years of his life. Because the programming of the systems happens in the childhood. Programming, everything, whether it is values, whether it is your ethics, whether it is scientific temperament, you develop a program. If this is a machine, this machine programming will be done in the first 10 years of your life. And rest of the 50 years or 60 years, based on this programming, you will wear a blinder like a horse or a lens, and you start viewing the world from that perspective. So, that is the reason they say attitudes are framed early in life. So, early parenting, role of school, role of education, role of peer group plays an influential role with respect to building values, ethics and framing the attitude of the kid. Okay. So, why this chapter in UPSC? Multiple reasons are there. Because bureaucracy, after 1947, the imperial police became IPS, but they continued with the same colonial attitude. Colonial attitude means you will not change fast. You believe that you are from heaven and you are different from people. When you feel you are different from people with this colonial attitude, you cannot think of service or welfare to public at large. You cannot implement something like schemes, or you cannot focus on developmental aspects or development administration. So, for that, this colonial attitude has to change, number one. Number two, by the time the officer is on duty, this officer average age will be 30. And changing somebody's attitude at the age of 30, when everything is already formed and programmed, is very difficult. Just because you go ahead with UPSC training facilities, etc., the attitude of the officer will never change. Attitudes are very strong, which are, or the value systems or attitudes are very strong, which are already existing in the childhood, and by the time of 30, he has a completely matured attitude which is reluctant to change. Reluctant to change. You can't change somebody's attitude after 30. It is very difficult. So, how to do it? So, anyhow, in childhood you can't do much. In the training you are not able to do much. And that is why they wanted to introduce a subject which wants to test a person's attitude through maybe case studies or maybe through questioning in this ethics, aptitude and integrity. This is also one of the logic to bring this chapter.